Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When I was a little boy and a teenager, I lived under a communist system in Romania. And my parents and the culture over there was such that when you had something made in the USA, was the best quality, the same as West Germany. These were the two countries that if you bought an item from, that would last a lifetime. So that's with this culture we've been raised. And it was true. If you had something made in the USA, it was of the best, durable quality, reliable stuff. Well, I moved to the United States of America and I experienced it firsthand. A lot of things changed in a worst, not in a good, in a bad. And it seems like now this society here is more interested in the form, not in the substance of things, almost anything. In the social situation, in technical situation, in manufacturing sector, in things, it's the appearance that matters much more than the actual ability to perform the appearance or to back up the appearance. So this might look very beautiful eyeglasses, but they don't last long and they're of poor quality. This is what I'm talking about. That's a lot of show, a lot of colors, a lot of lights, a lot of, the form, it's fantastic. Everything is beautiful, but the substance lacks. Look in the politics, but I'm not going in that right now. I'm going to have two articles here that oppose one another. One is based on facts, and the other one is based on form. One is substance, the other one is form, related to the same issue. The United States mocks now Russian army, how poor it is, but it frames it in such a way that is very dishonest intellectually, and that's why I picked these two articles. One comes from Blinken and the other one comes from Ben Wallace, who's a British military intelligence chief, security, something, big shot, knows everything. So let's start with this one. As I said, form versus substance, lights and colors and screen, smoke screens. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken said Russia claimed it had the second best military in the world. But now, and I'm quoting, many see Russia's military as the second strongest in Ukraine. So obviously the weasel, this way right here, he's mocking and says, well, it can't even win and beat Ukraine. That's his point, this guy. Blinken said in a speech on Friday that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a strategic failure. Blinken said Russia is significantly worse off today than it was before the full-scale invasion. Today, many see Russia's military as the second strongest in Ukraine, he said. Okay, well, let's see. Let's go to the second article, which comes from Russia Today, and we have Ben Wallace right here, British Defense Secretary Ben Wallace, so he's an intelligent individual, right? Ukraine's backers running out of available weapons. UK said that. This guy. The British Defense Secretary says Western countries will have to purchase arms for Kiev instead of donating from stockpiles. Western nations' military stockpiles are being depleted, forcing them to seek armaments elsewhere to prop up Ukraine. UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace has warned. He also downplayed Kiev's hopes of joining NATO in the foreseeable future. That was in an interview with the Washington Post published on Friday. Wallace commented that commended the West for continuing to send defense aid to Ukraine amid its military standoff with Russia. So, and it says, however, the minister acknowledged that we have seen reality, which is that we are all running out of weapons and equipment that can be donated. All right? So let's go back to this weasel right here, Blinken. So who's fighting actually in Ukraine? Blinken. You said there's a second, it's a second strongest in Ukraine, which Ukraine is better, right? But you know that's not Ukraine versus Russia. You know that's about 30 countries versus Russia. So I think Russia still can claim it had the second best military in the world. What do you think, Blinken? So this guy makes the point that Russia is losing in front of Ukraine. But Russia, we know, doesn't fight Ukraine per Wallace. The weapons are coming from outside and many other things. So are those 30 countries that are fighting Russia on the territory of Ukraine. And they're not losing. Look on the map. Therefore, I think it's pretty strong, don't you think? I don't know if it's the second, the first, the third, the fourth. I don't know how I could assess that. But I can assess this. It's not losing against all the weapons the other countries pour into Ukraine against the Russian military. And they're not winning. So Russia is not fighting Ukraine, it's fighting everybody else. These guys, what's his name? Blinken brings together and makes them do what they do. And they're depleting their weapons stockpile. Those countries, how many are there? 30, 25, 20? How many are there? So they are depleting their weapons. They don't have weapons anymore. This is how much they pumped into Ukraine, and Ukraine is not winning. So they are not winning. They can't beat Russia. They can't. And remember, it's the United States pumping, Germany, Great Britain, France, Italy, heavyweights. Czech Republic and Poland and all that. All these guys. And they're not winning. So I think Russia is pretty strong. What do you think? Now you see, Mr. Form, Blinken, said, made jokes and feels good. Where's the substance, Blinken? Well, the substance was offered by Wallace, not with the intention of providing the substance, but he did. We're running out of weapons. We are fighting that guy. We need to purchase from somewhere else in order to give these guys to fight one country. So you make your own mind, and I know you're not an idiot like Blinken is. I don't think he's really I think he is, but he's a weasel. So he's not very smart because you can see through it. And I don't think he's just. He could have made it a different way, but he thinks that he can get away, and he does. He does get away with this kind of statements because the population doesn't understand what's going on. They think, oh, it's the Ukrainian fighting those and our military aid. No, that's weapons that these guys pump in there. They're not done. They're not done. They still have a lot of weapons to provide to Ukraine. They didn't give all their airplanes and all their tanks and all that. But that tells me if this guy says we're depleting our stockpiles, that means what kind of stockpiles you have. And then the next question is, I know that your country's big wealthy countries, that's all you stockpile you had, and the Ministry of Defense gets how much money? What's your budget? Who gets paid? I tell you who gets paid. People behind desks, people with other things, not armament. We don't have armament. We do not have weapons. That's my conclusion. We do not have weapons. We have this much weapons and this much personnel that gets fat. That's what it is. Because look what's going on in Ukraine, and they're already depleted. You sent, 20 tanks, and you're depleted? What? And you have a budget of $840 billion, talking about the United States of America? Look at the Germans. We can't send any more tanks. We send 80. That's it? That's all you had? 80 is, you can have them blown up in one day. So you were ready one day to fight someone else like Russia? This is a joke, my friends. This is a racket. Racket. We're not safe. They just tell us, again, form versus substance. The strongest military hypersonic, we have this, we have all those, submarines, nuclear submarines, we have airplanes, air carriers, okay, we have all those. You have the pop. How many airplanes are functional? How many submarines are functional? I'm pretty sure they have them, because they say, well, if shit hits the fan, we have nuclear weapons and nobody will do anything, which the same is with the Russians. If they start losing, they will say, okay, now it's time to be serious about it. Back off, or we're going to use this. And what do you think these guys are going to do? They're going to say, yes, sir, because their lives are more important than those guys. That's how they think. Why? They have more to lose. More to lose. And I can go on and on and on. So thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.